the Nether Ward. Gyro's short range, Spirit Breaker melee.
The familiars maybe.
Can maybe do it, but they need a lot of, like, then they use all their damage potential in that. Then you've used all their attacks, basically.
Yeah.
And you can obviously still decryptify. Okay, that helps.
They get some spam. They get someone who can also, as you mentioned, snipe the ward. If there was a Pugna.
I still wouldn't mind seeing that from CDEC. I think they can definitely just put so much pressure early. I think the key for them is if they manage, so let's say HGT play a safe lane trial lane. I guess that's what we're expecting at this point, right? They're offlane Spirit Breaker, Wind Ranger mid, and Visage Rubik Gyro safe. That's the most likely proposition. They might try to run an aggressive try, but I really don't think so after how the last game went. They will probably not want to do that again. So if they play safe, it's going to take Visage a while to get level 6. And until Visage is level 6, they actually can't fight. I don't think they can win a team fight with these heroes until that point. Gyro will need level 6 as well, probably, but he'll get it faster. And, well, CDEC has a lineup that when Undying is just like level 4 or level 5, they could probably just start pushing towers.
How about, like, say, Bristleback here? How do you...
He's good, too.
Do you like him versus, like, Pugna DK type of hero?
I think he could work as well. They have enough sustain for him. Not the best synergy with Clockwork, but I still think it's going to be okay. My favorite is still Pugna, actually. I think it will be really, really good.
I don't know if CDEC run that hero is my only question mark. There's also still Jug, but I feel like they have a lot of control for Juggernaut. Just the physical damage of the familiars, the Spirit Breaker lockdown.
Jugger is not really that good.
Wind Ranger has evasion when she's wind running, which somewhat helps with the Omni Slash in between attacks. This I did not expect those in. They're going to go for a Life Stealer. It's just Clockwork's a decent infest vehicle, but the cogs also really can work against this hero in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I don't know if this was the pick either. It's pretty clear that they want someone who could just, you know, siege the tower, stand in front, get some hits in, and reset and re-go. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like he's not really that good against Spirit Breaker, first off. Spirit Breaker is pretty decent at just...
I think he's pretty good against Gyrocopter.
Yes.
But
if he comes in close, he's good.
I feel like they had other ways to deal with Gyro, like just fighting before he's really ready.
Lifestealer seems a little bit out of the timing here. I feel like he needs more items and a little bit more before he can get useful. He's not like a PL, which actually got banned against them. I think his timing... He's pretty good around minute, I want to say 12, if he has free farm. So he gets, let's say you go Armlet phase, or you get phase drum plus some sort of build-up at that point. You're pretty strong. But the rest of the heroes, I feel like are come out earlier. And
he is really good against Rubik as well. So I feel like he's really good against Gyro and Rubik. But like you said, Spirit Breaker, Wind Ranger, and even Visage, once he gets familiar, deal with this hero fairly well.
Well, we're going to see if they're going to make it work. At least in the last game, I feel like it was one thing that they had the better draft. I feel like they also just outclassed HGT. So maybe they're going to win on just being the better team. And I don't think they're outpicked. I just think there were better options than Lifestealer.
Yeah, I think there were just scarier options more than anything. All right, Sind, we get underway now. HGT, they are going to run as the lanes that you predicted. Very straightforward. Defensive tri-lane Gyro, off-lane Spirit Breaker, Wind Ranger, likely going to head towards mid.
Get a pause. I think they are within Gyro's vision already, so both teams know a little bit at this point. They can actually start planning a little bit here if they do want to do that. I think HGT are just going to go away.
Yeah,
they don't.
They really don't want to. Their invade is just devastating at level 1.
They do have Visage on HGT though, which is really, really good for level 1 fights. If you skill Soul Assumption, hasn't skilled yet, so it is a possibility.
He's kind of far away. They're going to have to at least give up a little ground.
Gyro's good level 1 if he doesn't get overrun.
Boots first as well.
Yeah. This is actually not as clear cut as
it's a 5-man invade though. Glance, they have the Spirit Breaker bottom.
He could charge now.
That's true.
And they could I feel like they might not want to dodge this fight on second thought. They actually do have a shot at it, but they're going to let CDEC get what they want. They will invade. There's one sentry placed here on the right-hand side. This sentry should be out of vision of the standard first sentry you place on the left side.
On the left side, yeah.
Within the
right
tree.
in between those two trees
there.
Yeah,
in that block there.
Yeah.
But then your secondary one will always be to the right. So they might force out 2 sentries here from HGT.
And they also get that other... That ward has been really popular as of late, and very effective for the most part.
The battle begins.
Well, Sind, I mean, maybe there's just that element of confidence as well, where CDEC just crushed game 1. They're like, we're going to win a fight just because we're better than these guys, and we dominated them once, we'll do it again. HGT like, yeah, we're a little scared. We don't want to risk anything here. We know how important this game is. But yeah, they forfeit a lot of territory in the jungle early on, and we will see Undying now rotating back towards top. A set of tangos coming out for Shiki mid. So the lanes will settle down. It's the Wind Ranger mid versus Viper. One of the better heroes, I would say, for dealing with Viper in general, especially in this current patch.
And I believe we didn't talk about this yet, but Lifestealer Undying is actually really an interesting lane setup, and they have a Witch Doctor to go with it. If you do manage to get Open Wounds off, this is going to spawn at least 2 or 3 zombies before Open Wounds expires. So actually a fairly strong lane. They still should not get overconfident in this lane. I think HGT can definitely deal with them. But Lifestealer is one of the few heroes that can actually go in on Gyro in the laning phase. So they have a way of engaging, and if that can secure them the Tombstone, then it's actually possible they can win that lane. If they win that lane, this is going to be, once again, a beatdown, I think. But
look how big that Cogs mana burn is versus Spiritbreaker. Instantly, the whole mana pool basically gone. That means he can't necessarily apply pressure elsewhere, which could come into play here.
To me, Clock wins this lane after...
especially with a decent battery assault like that. The creep's going to die here. XTT going to take some... Oh, actually, no. Keeps on hitting him instead, so he'll take the damage that way.
It gets a lot scarier when Clock reaches level 3, and especially level 5. Then he can really just...
If Spiritbreaker gets like a lucky dash or two, though, it can quickly
just knock him out of the Cogs.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, we saw that yesterday, actually. It was pretty funny. I mean, the liability to me for HGT in this tri lane is the Rubik, potentially. Just very little damage output early on. Doesn't offer you that much at the first few levels, aside from potentially a great lift that gets someone out of position.
Wait a second, that sentry doesn't actually block the camp. They placed it too far to the right.
It's like slightly to the left.
And HGT don't seem...
They might not know.
They don't seem aware that they can actually pull.
Did they buy sentries? I don't think they did.
Actually didn't check. That's a really big loss. They should really check that pull. Visage is going to do it now, and they're going to be like, wait a second, we can actually pull here.
Oh, the clip
that is really good.
See ya! Now they're going on top, but they're doing it without backup. He open raged and tombstoned, and then open wounded a creep. Uh-oh.
That is
really bad. This is the trifecta of bad things happening. Open wounding the creep, wasting the tombstone, getting cliffed on your Witch Doctor.
And did they even get the rune? I think they didn't get the rune either.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Well, so much for HGT being the team that
Viper got it. Okay.
Confidence.
Well, that is not what CDEC needed for that tri lane. They are still getting mega out-farmed up there, though. We haven't really talked about that. No. Lifestealer 13-7, Gyro 4-0. So this aggressive tri lane is actually working out
and even
better than it should.
The Clock is holding his own against Spiritbreaker, which is really all you need is get your levels, don't feed.
Yeah. He's probably getting a bottle out, I guess. Or boots. I think it's bottle. Yeah. That's good. This is how he wins the lane. When he refills with that and gets level 3, he can actually kill the Spiritbreaker. And right, they got Witch Doctor down from there.
They do have only a level 1 Witch Doctor, though. No points in Maledict, nothing in the heal just yet, so he doesn't bring a whole lot to the table. And this is a hero that gets much scarier from level 2 to 3.
Yeah.
But I feel like part of it is just that they're afraid of this Undying Lifestealer duo, so they don't want to play aggro in the top lane. So they're kind of getting passively out-farmed thus far. This is impressive considering the Witch Doctor was cliffed earlier.
This mid lane for CDEC is also a very big win. Air is getting outlaned. This is not winnable for Wind Ranger if the Viper gets to play a flat one-on-one with no threat of getting ganked. And that's the really nice thing for CDEC here is they have the stronger mid matchup, and they're keeping perfect tabs on top lane with their aggressive ward that they planted in the start. They know exactly what's going on. So Viper can play on the Wind Ranger's cliff, and that's when it's just impossible to deal with. She's doing okay.
Oh, that Spiritbreaker has a haste rune. This could be interesting, potentially. Well, probably not so much bottom, but if he heads to the other lanes.
Yeah, you might try to fight him.
Give him a smack with that lantern. He's maxing the bash, going for the super RNG plays. That is...
It's definitely the best build. That hurts. Yeah. Especially when you have a haste run.
Yeah. All you need is, like, you get that double bash, and all of a sudden, Clockwork is just
interesting,
screwed.
He went 2 cogs. It's not what I expected. What's Spiritbreaker's mana pool? So, this means if he gets cogged once, he can't even... Well, he can still use one of his spells. It doesn't, like, cross the threshold where there's one of his spells he can't use, or with level 1 cogs, he will still be able to use both from full mana. So I feel like it doesn't really change that much, but...
They're going to re-sentry. Did they place it in the same location again? I think it's...
That's a little more to the left.
I think that's a little more
one blocks.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
We'll find out. The moment of truth.
We're good.
Aha.
All right, this time they nailed it.
But they got off at least one pull here. Pretty hard.
Visage has sentries now as well.
Yeah.
So.
Level 3 on both support. The lack of killing here is, I think, something HGT is very happy with, though, even though they are getting out-farmed.
Phase boots Gyro. He is closing in on Lifestealer. It was very close beforehand now, or sorry, Lifestealer was very far ahead, and now it's close.
Stopped off for the Poor Man Shield and the completed Magic Wand, which delays the upgraded boots quite a bit.
I think... I'm not sure if I agree with this build. I understand why he wants to get a Poor Man Shield against triple range like this and not get harassed too hard, but CDEC are drafting this lane to play aggressively, and this is more of a defensive itemization where if he went for phase boots, he could actually set up kills right now.
If he walks onto Kaka and he's got some backup, that Rubik's not getting away. Yeah.
But he can't really reach. I like this build, though. Even though he doesn't, I guess on level 4 he's going to skill Feast. It's really good, but they need the range on open wounds.
Aggressive is living up to his name now. Massive chase onto Pretty Hall. He's going to lead with the open wounds here. Now even raging his way forward, but that was just too far away from his teammates, it seems. He's going to try to run him down with auto attacks, but while that's happening, CSMJ's like, okay, great. I'm just going to go ahead and kill Q on the back lines. They do get Pretty Hall, but now the Spirit Breaker charges in. He looks to engage as well. Kaka being pursued. There's your bash. Now the Nether Strike follow. They're going to bring down Aggressive. They're going to drop Garter onto the ground. He does have a Tombstone available. Actually, no, it was deployed a bit earlier. And now they chase forward. They're going to lose the Zombie Man as well, potentially. XTT, no, there's the Soul Rip keeping him alive. Another smackdown from XTT. Then a follow-up charge as they continue to engage period. But XZ also rotated in the entire 5-man lineup from both squads, just having it out in the dire jungle. And when the dust settles, it's a pretty bloody slaughter in the end. I believe a 2-for-2 overall.
I lost track. I think 3-for-3, right? It was the first blood was Gyro's kill on the witch.
Oh yeah, well that's true. It was spread out where they had the kill over on the side of the lane.
Spirit Breaker got 2 kills there though, so pretty good for him. He's gonna finish his urn for this. This is a really big item if they can get some momentum going here.
Oh, and he's already charging in.
And it's 7 urn Orb of Venom.
This is actually very scary for CDEC. The Clockwork Hookshot is on cooldown, where Spirit Breaker can just go, go, go.
Yep. Let's see where Clock goes. If he ports bottom now. Nope, he ports top.
Oh, he anticipates it.
He's even smoked. Oh, he's looking for the aggressive play himself.
He's got his own hook ready, but Spirit Breaker is, I believe, up in the lane. He's waiting for this. There's no call down yet. It's a good time to fight in that sense. XZ just inching his way forward here, trying to find the opening.
Oh, is he? I don't think that ward sees him now, actually. It doesn't. Oh, this could
moves
actually...
like an inch. Oh, well, so much for that.
The question is if they saw that. If they saw the launch
They
area.
ping in the area, but I don't think they had their cameras over. Oh, now they know.
Yeah, now they definitely know. And it's also starting to get obvious because this bottom lane has been empty for a good 30 seconds now. So
and Kaka's just like, I'm going to get my levels. Level 5 already at 8 minutes in. That is so good for Kaka. Meanwhile, Q is level 3.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And getting a fast level 6 on Rubik. That's at the cost of Visage, but... There's a couple good spell steals. I think Viper Strike is actually going to be really good to get this game and cast on Lifestealer.
Oh, they want CSMJ. They do get some eyes on him now. They're going to pull air inside of open wounds. Battery Cell goes to work. They charge on the XZ. Dodge away from the cogs. Now the Nether Strike. No, he cancels it. He's waiting for a better opportunity. The cast begins about, and now the zombies start to come in. But HGT, have the whole gang here, they're going to try to turn this. Now the Nether Strike goes out, and it's onto Aggressive, who's being bullied out of the fight. Charge forward. This cow don't care. He'll bring down the Lifestealer as well and chasing for a bit more. That's 3 dead. Make it 4. Shiki, the last man standing, about to get charged and possibly dealt with here. All of a sudden, things are going from bad to worse for CDEC. He gets in front, looking to bash him back a bit more. Turns with the Nether Strike. Shiki wants to get at least 1 kill of this, but he'll be potentially cliffed a bit off the mark. He is tanky. Could maybe even turn for a 2nd kill with a teammate rotating in. They're going to go now with the cast. Does Spirit Breaker have a charge available? He does. He's going to charge through them. They have no way to stop this. XTT walks away, and this Spirit Breaker has just been the difference maker thus far for HGT.
That was, I really thought CDEC were going to get a couple of kills. They fought under the Tombstone for a good, like, 20 seconds, and they just didn't have the damage. Viper wasn't there. I think, as an aggressive play there, I think it's not the best play call for CDEC to go without the mech and without the Viper. Like, they could have, if they would have waited until now, this play would have been twice as good now.
CDEC's a little bit lacking on damage, which is where, like you're saying, they need that extra sustain to just slowly whittle HGT down, but they don't have much burst. They're not finding any quick kills.
And the way they opened was they went in on the Wind Ranger. She TP'd in, and that was actually exactly what HGT wanted. The Clockwork cogs are in, starts battery assaulting, and that means 2 of the key abilities are used on a hero they can't bring down. During Wind Run, they don't have damage. Lifestealer can't get into the cogs, can't even hit anyway. Oh,
it's looking for that pickoff, though. It's a level 3 battery assault, but they have a rocket as well. There's the Shackle. Air trying to retreat out, but continues to take the damage. One more tick, they'll get him. Nice takedown here for XZ, and XTT just going to have to let it go. They need that type of kill, though, from the Clockwork, especially the way the game's developing.
Still, I'm with how hard CDEC lost that top fight, they're still looking okay on the net worth. I thought that was going to be worse for them. Viper's still #1. He wasn't involved, farmed a lot in the mid at the same time. Lifestealer is still on par with Gyrocopter, even though he died in the fight and Gyro stayed alive.
And they have the mech now,
and they have mech advantage,
which is very scary.
That is the biggest item on the map right now. I wonder if Wind Ranger wants to go for that for them, or if they're going to play without mech.
They want to make their go on him. Shiki does get Fate Bolted, but he's not inside of the cooldown. It's way too late. They get the double bash to bring him back in, but the mech comes out. Soul Rip as well. Now the Tombstone deployed, and things are going to turn very quickly here against HGT. They try to run from the zombies. Aggressive getting up in the front lines. Doesn't finish off ZSMJ, though. The double bash comes out from the XTT charge. XZ in hot pursuit. He does not have a hook shot ready. Ends up going okay for HGT in the end. That was with a pretty bad call down, but they got the Nether Strike into a secondary bash, which pushed them into the second call down proc.
Yeah, I think HGT should be happy with that. With how long that took and with all the TPs they forced, I think they come out ahead on that one, even though the timing wasn't that good. It's Viper for Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker had a streak, so maybe not good enough. He was 5 for nil, and Clock got all that gold, so like 400 something. But they forced 2 or 3 TPs. They also have value, and all in all, I guess an even trade, and that could have gone so, like you said, could have been so much worse for them.
How are you feeling about
Visage was not there, so he's level 6. That's
that is big.
That's probably a win for HGT all in all then.
How are you feeling about the presence of the Lifestealer so far? This is not a hero we see all that often. I think there's one team in the China qualifier that likes to run it a lot, though who it is escaping me, but I remember seeing that in the stat stock we got. But do you feel like the Lifestealer is paying off so far? I feel like we haven't seen much out of the hero as of yet.
Well, the pressure he put on the top lane just by being there and allowing their lane to win was pretty good.
Oh no, Shiki, what are you doing, my friend? Calldown comes out. Again, a bad calldown, a complete airball. ZSMJ not delivering.
I think he wasn't even ready for that lift to be a possibility.
Yeah, that maybe not entirely on him, perhaps a bit of miscommunication, but they had the kill potential if that hits.
But Lifestealer, well, he enabled their lane. I think a big part of why he hasn't seemed so impactful was his itemization. I think they could have really pressured that top lane a lot harder.
If they go straight phase instead of
straight phase and just go in. Yeah. But you understand they played a little more passively. Of course, a big loss for them is also that Witch Doctor gets cliffed and they lose like a minute there. That their sentry didn't block the camp, so ultimately the HGT do get pulls. I think there's multiple factors here that speak against it, but he's still farming more than the Jar. Like, even though that top lane did not go that smoothly, they're still leading.
At some point, you got to figure stacks are going to come into play here for HGT, though. CDEC have yet to take a tower. The jungle's still pretty well protected.
Yeah, I don't think they have a time to stack, though. Like, their supports have been fairly busy just protecting top lane.
At least that's how they feel. They're just sitting as 4 mid right now, it seems.
But they should definitely stack now. There's no doubt about that. Their support should be stacking 2 camps every single minute now.
That is a testament to the pressure. I think the Clockwork, more than anyone, is just put on the map for CDEC, where they're just constantly worried about, for HGT, about him ganking someone. And so it looks like instead they're going to go for a bit of a journey here, smoking up with Kaka in the front lines. Does have Spell Steal online now with a stolen Viper Strike.
Oh, that's very important.
You mentioned this could be a big one. Rocket goes directly over their heads, and this causes HGT to get scared.
They actually got nothing out of that smoke. The ward they have in there, they already placed earlier, right? The dire ward close to the tier 1, I
believe so. Oh no, they just placed.
Oh, they just okay. So they got a ward out. That's okay. If this ward ends up paying dividends later on.
Shiki, the shackle. If that hits, they probably go. They may try anyway. Lift, drop them on back, but the mech comes out already. Tombstone deployed, somewhat baited out, but it's in a decent position to force this tower siege. The zombies start milling around. Hook comes through. That's on 2 with the Lifestealer packing inside. XTT could be in danger, but the call down is countering this one quite nicely. XZ gets caught. Cass continues to bound. XTT also dropping low with the Maledict on him. May tick down here as Aggressive engages. The SMJ is forced to TP out. The fight gets a little scattered. Shiki now gets turned on with the Maledict on him. This time stolen by the Rubik, I believe. Oh no, that's not the Maledict actually.
Fade Bolt.
The Fade Bolt. But either way, drops low, walks into the Roche Pit. Charge comes through. He tries to TP out. Shackle. Is it ready? It is. They cancel the TP. They'll bring him down. Looked like an amazing hook shot, but then the whole team just walks right into the call down and turns the fight.
When the call down really matters, he didn't miss that one. that one was the word.
That one you have to be asleep at the wheel to miss, it feels like.
That's really nice. They got 1,500 gold out of that. They held their tower. They killed the Viper and Clock. I think
2 of the cores.
So Clock was actually pretty high. He was decently high in net worth. So these are very valuable kills. And
I think just as importantly, they hold the tower. Now they go ahead and deny it, but CDEC want to be just cleanly taking objectives at this stage.
And a big part of the failed engage there for CDEC is that they catch, actually, I think, the worst target they can. They jump in on the Spirit Breaker with Clockwork and Lifestealer, and Spirit Breaker is super tanky. He has 1,600 health under the tower. They get into the cooldown. If possible, they want to hookshot the Rubik or the Gyro. If they catch the Gyro, that's just a snowball fight. They run them over, but ZSMJ was not in a position they could hit him in, and, well, probably in hindsight, better not to engage if Spirit Breaker is the only one you can catch. And just try to siege the tower with Lifestealer and your Tombstone, where HCT are probably going to be hesitant to engage in.
CSMJ is building towards his BKB. Here gets the Ogre Club, starts to tank up. I mean, you're up against so much early pressure. You get this item, and a lot of what CDEC has to offer is negated as far as damage goes, at least. The Maledict probably being the big one here. The Clockwork's damage. You're just guaranteed to get off your nukes, your auto attacks. Not there yet, though. Still to finish farming it
Did
up.
they use Death Ward last fight, by the way?
I don't... If they did...
He might not have had it, even.
I think he was a bit underleveled going into that fight.
Now they have Armlet, too. That's like... If you look at items that have a really big impact, like Minute 15, Armlet is just extremely good. But there's so few heroes that benefit from it, and a lot of the time it's difficult to utilize it.
I still really do not like Clockwork that much as a vehicle for Lifestealer, because he hooks in, he gets off the cogs, and then he just traps Lifestealer in the middle of the fight with Shackle Shot coming in as soon as Rage wears off. The call down hit him twice there. I think he was rage through it, but he's still being slowed down.
And when the rage ends, he is
just totally trapped.
He's in a really poor position generally. It really depends. Like if they engage in a good way with the hook shot, the cogs and the rage have decent overlap timings. Like when rage ends, cogs are generally out, and then you can get out of there maybe. But there's just less freedom, it seems, than with.
It is still great for the solo pickoffs if they can find someone here.
This looks like a waste of time for now. Okay, they're going to go mid.
There's a ward here, though, and they see the clock. They don't know that there's a payload packed within.
So that ward might have just paid for itself.
Now the second ward sees him. There's just nowhere XC can really go without being scouted, it seems. This is one of the things that we used to talk a lot about when we saw the Lifestealer strategies, was the risk of trying to spend too much time ganking, because the Lifestealer's not farming, the vehicle isn't farming right now. That's one nice thing when you're running like a Storm, is you can clear the waves a lot more quickly. So CDEC, somewhat cognizant of that, will back down, but this now means they lose their Tier 1 top, and I think HGT are going to be fine just trading for now, Sind.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're trading.
It looks like there is a push bottom brewing, but
can they hold that? No, they can't. Okay, they will trade. I think they're going to be too late. Yeah.
But I think that's good for HGT.
That's good for HGT, yeah. They just need to buy time. The question is, come mid-game, I still feel like Rubik won't have the biggest impact this game. He can spell steal the Viper Strike, which is kind of the biggest thing, or maybe Death Ward. It's a very easy steal if he's in a position to do it.
Yeah, you can just toggle the heal on, though, to prevent that.
Spirit Breaker's kind of going to fall off a bit at some point. So then it's like Wind Ranger Gyro versus Lifestealer Viper as the big cores, and then the secondaries are
Visage,
Clockwork, but Visage can turn into a core for them as a support, more or less.
He is not getting much farm. I think that's really where HGT want to ideally try and sneak a Roche. Not in really the best position. That's very risky now, more if they find a pick-off or a good map opportunity.
Looks like that might be exactly what they're trying here. If this smoke gang is successful,
then they're either into the pit or straight down mid for the Tier 1.
Or bottom.
Maybe even bottom, yeah. Not finding anything yet.
Looks like CDEC is really good at not getting smoked in these games.
This is where this ward could pay off. They just saw some heroes. Now they see 2 in the lane mid, but That is not the duo you want to jump on. Let's going on the tier 1 on Undying Viper. Sounds painful.
Well, they don't really have that many good targets to engage on, to be honest, in the draft in general.
Witch Doctor is probably the main one. But
Yeah.
even if you kill him, he's their 5 position
Four
support.
others you really don't want to open on.
Oh,
boy,
here we go.
there
Now
this-
things are going to get interesting real quickly. XE walks in. He did not get off the spell. They quickly drop the call down. It connects on both. The bash through hits everyone. They try to turn this no guard going in. He gets bashed again. He can't fight his way out of it. Now it's aggressive, trying to hold his guard. They got off the tombstone, though. This could be the big one that turns it. Again, the bash is Shiki getting smacked around like a ragdoll. And the 2-0 shackle from air. What a fantastic initiation or follow-up, I should say. Aggressive. He heads to the south. Shiki getting still lobbed around. First, he's bashed. Now aggressive arm with Tongli may actually survive this. Not sure if Shiki will be so lucky. The charge comes through. Another bash as a result of that charge. They get the team wipe. Oh, what a terrible area to get caught within.
That was just absolutely perfect for HDT to stand right there when the smoke came out. The call down, I think, hit 5. I think Viper even mech'd too early. It seemed like he panicked. It looked like he panicked. He panicked. It looked like he panicked. I think. Did he mech before the call down even hit with the first missile?
I think he just spammed it, yeah.
I don't know how much of a difference it made. I think they were just in an awful position in general, but
If Clog manages to get off his cogs in this hook, I think that's a significantly different fight. Maybe they still lose, but they're not done yet. XE wants to contest this roast. They are going to find that pesky Spirit Breaker who immediately buys back. Looks to turn this one around. Now Cock on the TP out. That will be canceled by battery, so they should be able to run down the Rubik here. 2 dead with the buyback. Now hunting ZSMJ. This could be huge for CDEC. Maladin coming through. XTT will complete the charge, and ZSMJ still on the run. Garter wants to pursue, gets stunned up. The death ward insta-canceled, it looks like. Or at least out of range to continue. ZSMJ should take down the Maladin to fall. Extra decay just to ensure it. They're going to die back on XTT, it seems. He tries to bash the Clockwork out of his own cogs. He'll fall as well. That's 4 dead with a dieback from the Spirit Breaker. And CDEC can steal this Roshan now. Oh, how the tides have turned. From a team wipe for HGT straight into a dieback 4-hero takedown and a Roche Jack by CDEC. Maybe the Familiars could be the hero, though, and they are setting up, looking for at least some stuns. Do they deny the Aegis? No, can't do it. And they feed one as well.
oh my god.
This game just got pretty interesting.
This is crazy. I want to say it's kind of similar to other games we've seen in the tournament where teams are like making some questionable calls and making some super aggressive plays that sometimes pay off, sometimes don't, but I feel like when it comes to spell usage, these two teams, like the way they move and cast their abilities, they're just better than the other teams. Like, I think most other of the teams we've seen in this qualifier would not have been able to beat HGT there and snipe that Roche. They would have either not made the call to go there, or they would have been too late, or they wouldn't have found the opening that Clockwork did. But everything comes together for CDEC there, and they do win the fight. And ultimately, that more than negates the team wipe they just had in their own jungle. They lost 5 for 1, now they killed 4 for 0 and got a Roche.
And it was a dieback as well on the Spirit Breaker. Who has fallen a lot behind. He's now like 1,800 gold down on the enemy Clockwork, which could be a big factor here moving forward. I think the big difference is CDEC and HGT are just more decisive teams. It feels like the other teams have that hesitation, maybe lack of a clear command structure, maybe just teammates disagreeing, or they're just playing a little scared and not talking enough. But whatever it is, these teams, when they want to go, they instantly go. This is a big stack.
Clock scouted that. Well, at least they know they can get the
so far away, though.
Oh, look, would you look at that? I reconnected again.
There you go. The charge through just to hit the Ancients once more. Looks like they should get this entire Ancient stack freely. CDEC are just not in position to contest. They were about as far away as you can possibly get. They
might lose 2 towers for this stack. I want to say that's not worth it. If they trade the tier 1, that's okay. But
tier 2 feels excessive.
They will not be in position now. This
they're also a bit low to try and walk over. The Spirit Breaker is nearly dead. Maybe TP's home charges top immediately. I think they're already too late, though.
I think this is not a good play call by HGT. They're trying to split push with air, though. This might make up for it.
He's got focus fire. He could try and rat this tower down pretty quickly, but
or get killed.
Or XE has the hook shot. There is a jump in air. Has the 4-staff away. He tries to pursue. Barely gets away with the wind run. He might find him in the trees if air tries to TP out. This could be the wrong way to try and escape this guy. Cogs just a split second. Actually, it bounced him as the TP out completed. At least the animation went off.
He held his tower, though.
He could have just run. That would have been the safe play. Now Clock actually ends up going down right after that to the gyrocopter, who finds a solo kill on the bottom lane, and now it looks like we might even have a skirmish towards mid. ZSMJ deployed his BKB. He almost died for that. Okay, I guess we're going to see a zombie bomb here. This is like the corpse explosion zombies from Left 4 Dead.
That's a play you don't expect. That all of a sudden Undying is carrying a lifestealer.
It's a boomer. That's what it is. That's what they're called. It's a boomer. Oh, man. This is... When is Left 4 Dead 3 coming out?
I have no idea. I've actually never played that game.
I feel like we have the right to know, since we're casting for Valve here.
Yeah. Half-Life 3 as well.
Next time we'll put it in our contract as a stipulation.
Dota 3.
Yeah. When's Dota 3? When's Half-Life 3? When's Left 4 Dead 3? Game of threes.
Oh, Shackle. Oh, that's a good one.
It hits aggressive. Familiars are working on it, but he's rather taking... Oh my god, that magic damage coming out from the bash for the Spearbreaker, but now the Death Lord. Tombstone deployed. Calldowns here. Aggressive just goes in on the cow, trying to beat him down. Won't be able to kill him, but does force him back. They force staff. Well, they secure the tower with this. The zombies march out, wave after wave, and maybe they don't fully secure it, but it seems like they have the confidence to just continue thwacking it down.
This is the type of fight Witch Doctor is just so good at. Like all the spread damage that HGT put out there gets negated by the heal. And they're taking objectives. This seems like something CDEC are just good at. They're good at seeing opportunities, seizing them, and making sure they follow through entirely before they go back. And they've got every single tower bar the bottom tier 2. I don't think they want to push this for now. They're going to wait for BKB to be available again on Viper. They're going to wait for Tombstone, probably Death Ward as well, and then try to make the play.
By the way, I think we might be seeing your favorite item. The Undying might be building towards a Vlad's here.
I thought he was going to get Atos when you said that.
For once, I wasn't being sarcastic.
Yeah, it looks like it. Could also be a pipe build-up. I think it's definitely got its merits in this game. It's perhaps going to be too late, though, for a pipe. And Vlad's is really, really good against Gyro Flak Cannon. It's good against Focus Fire, the birds. It's lots of physical here.
HGT, I mean, the Calldown is their big source of magic damage, but after that, they don't have much. This could be
still
big.
Power Shot, Fate Bolt. It's okay. Soul Assumption is obviously single.
I don't know if they could actually kill the Gyro with the BKB. Maybe they just try to bait it out and then hook him when he TPs. Oh, no, he's going to hook to initiate here. Out comes Lifestealer. Man, that's some fast damage. ZSMJ, no chance to even react.
I think they could kill him.
That's why we pay you the big bucks, man.
Wow,
cheeky. Mid-Nether Strike TP out. Yeah, they just burst him before he could even pop that BKB.
The old Nether Strike would have taken him to Fountain.
That's true.
He would have killed himself.
Oh, Rubik Flesh Golem. This could be interesting.
It looks really funny on Rubik, too. He's still little.
Please cast it, Kaka.
Cast it.
Don't disappoint us.
Well, he is definitely going to use it before he spell steals something else, because I think the duration stays. When all transformation-based spells on Rubik, you keep the duration of. And it's decent.
Just because you said that, he's going to disappoint the viewers by not using it first.
It's like a little cute. Well, no, Flesh Golem can't be cute. There's no way.
Baby Flesh Golem. It's not grown up yet. We're gonna see just the old school Lifestealer build. The Armlet, Phase, Sanjin Yasha. This was, I guess, the Zhou build back when he was playing tons of Lifestealer. He was the big player that really pioneered it. It seems like it is still the go-to. He gets off the rage here, though. Aggressive, gets double bash, doesn't even take a lick of damage. All of that's magical. They're still going in, but this time it's another strike on the XZ, who gets lifted up. There's a Tombstone on the high ground here, though. Blade Mail comes out from XZ, but ZSMJ, BKB's right through it. And the Tombstone, well, while they can't kill it, isn't actually doing a whole lot here. HGT just going to calmly walk away.
BKB charge for clock kill. I don't think he needed to BKB, though. That's the thing. Like, there's actually nothing pressuring him there. So.
The Blade Mail a little bit, but would have been like half HP.
Yeah, not even, I think.
At most, yeah. Maybe more like 2/3.
And he doesn't really need to be scared of anything. There's like no surprise play that comes in where he doesn't get BKB off after it's the clockwork they go on. So I think a little bit of a misplay there from ZSMJ. It is Vlad's on Undying.
I think the biggest item at this point for CDEC is the Witch Doctor eggs. Oh, looks like we might have a clash here in the river as XTT tries to retreat. Shackle comes through. Won't connect on anyone. Aggressive is going to find XTT. Can they chain stun him down before that charge cools down? They don't need to. They'll burst him instead with auto attacks.
Oh, Rubik stole Rage. Did he use Flesh Golem? No!
I told you.
No.
You jinxed it.
Oh, I wanted to see Baby Undying.
I don't want to.
You've never seen it before? Ah, you have.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
You must have seen that before.
I think I have. Does it change based on your cosmetic, or it always looks the same?
I think it always looks the same.
Okay. I really like the Rubik on a broomstick. That's one of my favorites.
That's good too.
He's just cute in general.
So, I still feel like CDEC are coming out ahead. Even though they're behind by 4 kills, I got the feeling that they're controlling the map better. Like, this is a very close game compared to before. It's just a few thousand golden experience here, but as far as the game plan, I've got this feeling that if HDT don't manage to get this Visage some big items, they're gonna hit a wall at some point. He's got a Ghost Scepter and now working on the Axe, so he's definitely making progress, but the risk here is that CDEC start taking over the map. They've taken every single tower apart from the tier 2. They have aggressive wards out, and if they find any sort of team fight and take the last tier 2, they might just be able to disallow HGT from even getting into their own jungle almost ever again with these heroes they have.
And those Ancients would be the really big thing.
Yeah.
Currently cleared out, but has
with
been
that
a
said,
big
though,
source of
Undying
gold
is
for them.
probably going to fall off at some point soon. The Tombstone is not going to stay as relevant as it has so far. I do believe you can't focus fire it, though, right? You can't. So they still need to destroy it, probably. But the birds can do a lot of damage. Just a couple of right clicks from Windranger should be enough. Oh, well, they're in a... This is a really
interesting
awkward position,
Garter, can they pull him up onto the cliff? They fail, but they get the double bad combo. Whoa, XTT. Now suddenly Shiki shackled on the high ground to the dead zombie man. He's on the run, completely isolated, while Air starts to dish out damage on Q, who couldn't manage to find a good death ward. Now he does, though, laying in, and the hook follows up. They're going to reel the SMJ back into the cogs. That was a vacuum cogs if I've ever seen one. Ghost Scepter, Pretty Hawk tries to run. It's about to wear off, though he rages, and Pretty Hawk walks right back into the waiting arms of the other zombie in this game. Ends up being a 2 for 4 after the ultimate miracle shackle for HGT.
That was a really good play by the Clockwork. I believe that's XC, yeah. So he was very... I think he stop cast his hookshot on the Windranger. He was like... Windranger was isolated to the right, and he had a clear line to the hookshot and just tried to fight her and fend her off while she was focus firing. But he identified there's a way bigger play to the bottom left. So he canceled. He went for the 2-hero cock next to the death ward that they threw out at the same time. And that really salvaged the fight. If they don't make that play there, I think it's 4 for 2 the other way. So
yeah,
very, very nice heads-up play from him.
Well, Clockwork pretty much has eggs. He's got point booster gold, just needs about another 400 to complete the whole thing. And there goes the Blade of Alacrity. I feel that's a very big item this game. You're up against I believe they have at least the 1 Force Staff on Air, and he's been able to somewhat elude the hookshot, but now you could just keep on going in. Double Force is out. But
I actually think Clock himself could have considered a Force Staff. They don't have any on the team. It's a way to keep up with the Windranger Force Staff if you want to go for that play. It's a great way to try to disengage from a Spirit Breaker after he hits the charge. Definitely has its merits in this game. It can even disrupt the telekinesis. If you Force Staff while they're in the air, it just drops them down. So, I don't know if Axe is the best choice. I think this was actually a really good Force Staff game, but it's definitely not a bad choice.
They also have that Witch Doctor Eggs. Could be big. Shackle. Oh, nice BKB dodge by Shiki.
He might still...
Nah, you can't go
They're not going to go for that.
He's so tanky. Almost has his Ags complete now. Has picked 2 of the components. This is going to be Aghanim's gaming momentarily as a Infest Bomb is on the move just now. Finds him Air, gets Hook caught out, and can they finish him is the question now. They chase forward with Aggressive. He is very quick, but XTT is in pursuit. They Force Staff him away towards safety. Now the call down comes through with Shackle, not going to connect this time, but Aggressive doesn't have any magic immunity left. He ends up falling. Then the Spirit Breaker starts to do his work, bashing again and again. Shiki will be isolated. The Death Ward comes through. That's an Aghanim's upgrade. They got to get out of here. They're fairly tanky, but it keeps on going. The SMJ almost brings down XTT. The zombies look to finish them up into the tree line. They massacre them behind the jungle. And Garter ends up salvaging the fight together with the Witch Doctor. Not very often you see all 3 cores get the crap pummeled out of them and then 2 supports clean up the fight, but they even it out a bit, Sind.
It's still a win for HGT all in all, just in terms of raw net worth. Of course, it's the 2 supports staying alive on both teams, so the richer cores on CDEC worth a bit more here.
It's still a win.
There might have been a kill streak as well, somewhere in between, somewhere in that. No, actually, wait, why did they get more gold? It looks like the CDEC kills were actually worth more gold from the chat log.
Well, I think just because they're behind.
Yeah, but they aren't really that far behind, right? They were behind by just a few thousand.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, they got more valuable kills, regardless.
Durka's drawing a heart. Oh, AoE.
They got more AoE gold? Yeah, that's possible.
That's true. I thought you were trying to. He's going like this.
Like, they got more gold because Lifesteal has
The power of sin, the power of love propelled them to some extra gold.
Well, I think CDEC are going to be okay with that outcome, considering that Lifestealer did almost nothing in the fight. The Viper went in after using BKB defensively against the Windranger earlier. Getting a 3 for 3, I think, is pretty much the best they can hope for in that situation. It looked like it was going to be a train wreck. But, well...
I mean, Visage the big winner here. He's basically got his eggs after that fight.
That's a big item. They don't have good ways of dealing with the birds at all, so very reliable that they will be able to hit the whole fight.
You know, the one here that's really kind of been shut down after an amazing start is the Spirit Breaker. XTT, ever since that dieback, I feel like he just has not had the same impact.
Yeah, he lost a lot of momentum. He has BKB now, though.
Pretty big item.
That's going to change quite a bit.
You know, I honestly feel like at this stage, the key hero that they must shut down is that Witch Doctor. He was probably 80% of their damage.
I think that's the play call here for Spirit Breaker. That's his job. He's just going to charge him, and he's going to ult him, and he's just going to keep laying into him with the BKB on. Preventing Death Ward from coming off is probably the best play. It is, of course, going to mean there's a little bit more space for Lifestealer and Viper, who have been his primary targets, but Witch Doctor has their highest DPS. So someone has to take care of it, and he is the very obvious choice. Either him or the birds.
At this point, the birds... I don't know, we just haven't seen much out of them. I guess he is going to have the eggs soon, though, like we talked about.
Roshan being scouted by CDEC. There's a smoke for the Dire. Oh, Gem picked up now as well from...
From who?
Not Garter. Q.
Just jumping
I still don't know these player names too well. Sorry.
Uh-oh. They're working on Roshan. Rocket comes in. It scouts it out, but can HDT do it in time? They do have the Medallia working for them, and CDEC are going for the long wraparound. This seems like it won't get there in time. Slowly moseying towards the pit. Clock is ready to go, but they're looking to body block a potential hookshot. He is invis for now. The rocket comes out. He's too late to engage. Zeke hooks in anyway. He says, I don't care, man. I'm going to take you down air. He drives XTT and air back, but gets shackled to the trees. Kept out, and now the Death Ward begins. Can they stop this thing in time? It's still going. Actually, they do manage to cancel with the familiar stuns. Very well done. And suddenly XZ isolated, brought down. They fight in the pit. Pretty Hall, Ghost Scepter for now, nearly does the
stolen tombstone.
Tick down.
Oh,
they kill off the stolen tombstone, and the real zombies start marching out. They're in pursuit here. A long
you Left 4 Dead, you were saying?
What is this? Doesn't really matter. They just want the familiars.
Does that actually work?
I don't know.
I guess they do a third of damage.
Yeah, it probably takes a while.
Well, that was the weirdest
thing. That was just clowny.
That arm is just...
They were making a pilgrimage. To their final resting place.
They kept the Aegis though, right? That was on ZSMJ, so it's a 2-for-1. They lose the Roche to HTT. I think HTT probably coming out ahead on this one. The Clockwork's hookshot looked really suicidal, but actually created a hell of a lot of space. He isolated 2 heroes off to the side. One of them, he gets shackled to the tree, so Shackle Shell's on cooldown. He runs down, I think it was Spirit Breaker, Windranger, and gets help from the Rubik even. And then it's just a 4-on-2 in the pit.
You know, Sin, one thing I think worth mentioning is Solar Crest is such a big item this game. Familiars cannot get MKB. They don't have True Strike.
Yeah.
So they're very much negated by this. The Vlad's is going to help out a lot as well. Even the Gyrocopter, it's like, sure, he can go MKB, but he's also maybe thinking, I want a Butterfly for this Assault Cuirass Lifestealer, and the Viper to slow and kite him.
And the Witch Doctor ult.
That's a good point. I
think, how is it, can you dodge the bounces? So you can dodge like every instance of the ult, basically.
Well, I believe you can dodge one, but not the other.
So you're saying you can dodge the direct impact, but not the bounce, or what do you mean?
I'm not sure which way it works, but I believe you can dodge one, but not the other.
Then you can then it's definitely the direct impact you could dodge. I think the bounce is also... I don't know. I think you can dodge both. I would guess so. It seems intuitive for me, but it's Dota 2, so intuition doesn't really work.
We'll find out soon enough, I guess.
Well, what do we... So that last fight actually as well, they did get the birds on top of Witch Doctor, and they stopped the Death Ward, but it didn't really matter because of the zoning. So they didn't benefit from the ult at all in that fight, and they still won it. Oh, birds, nice drops. He's going to resummon, I think. He got his Ags, so this is a very obvious choice to just get some new birds out. He's just wasting their time as much as possible. There's the resummon.
Oh, CDEC. I guess at this point you're looking towards your Lifestealer MKB potentially, the Abyssal Blade. At that point he's pretty much peaked out as far as what he can do. Still a bit of room to grow here on the Witch Doctor. Can look towards, say, a BKB to follow up the Eigen Scepter.
I think Abyssal on Lifestealer is really, really good.
Oh, they are going to make a go here, and ZSOJ gets slowed down off the bat. He has the Aegis. He's a bit out of position, but gets force staff to a better one by Kaka. Will help keep him safe. They steal the Viper Strike. Pretty nice. XC fires off a warning shot here in the mid lane, and Windranger will snipe the tower out, but now the hook comes through, and I believe Air already... No, his force staff is available. It's the Rubik's that got used earlier, so he's able to retreat out. Aggressive marches in. They were thinking about a go, but just didn't quite find
They could
the
try
right
again. He has to
opportunity.
try again now because of the Ag Scepter, but the fight's already over. HGT get the tower for free. They're going to continue to farm here.
Getting some good jungle time in, it looks
So
like.
what auras do HGT have? Do they actually have like Vlads and AC of any sort? I think they don't. So they're playing a very physically heavy game against a team that has both Vlads and AC, and they have neither. They've got to deal with that somehow. I think Visage needs to get a Vlad's or an AC, and the other one needs to go on the Spirit Breaker. It's really important for them to be able to deal with these team fights the way they've been going so far.
Okay, all I'm finding is the Death Ward can be evaded. There's nothing about that. So I guess the bounces can also be evaded as well then. That is definitely very big.
Here comes the charge. So I'm wondering if Lifestealer thinks MKB or Abyssal is best because of the gyro.
Well, while he's busy thinking about that, XTT is thinking about not letting him buy a new item, but then Aggressive just pops on the rage and turns this one around. There was a nice shackle on XZ, catching him completely out of position, and, well, they're going to find that kill. Aggressive still hunting XTT. He's getting his revenge for earlier this game.
The charge!
No, the charge! The Nether Strike follow-up, and then he's just going to walk away to the south to some smooth moves from XTT. There will be a bit of a dodge out here from Aggressive. Goes in again, does get shackled to the tree line. They'll lose Pretty Haw as the trade, and they managed to steal something. Is that the tombstone?
That's Decay, I think.
Oh, it's the Decay. Okay. Now the call down comes through. Looking for Garter. He's not that tanky, but the Soul Rip helps to keep him alive just a little bit longer. He'll still fall in the end. Shiki getting pursued out. This Windranger starting to do heavy damage. They lose 3. Aggressive survived it all, but his teammates paid the price, and now they're on the run.
Nice bird drops.
1, 2, and
3.
3.
Very good.
And done. Now a clap for good measure. They'll pierce the heart of Q. Down he goes.
4 for 1 plus a gem. Triple kill for Windranger. She's probably closing in on a new item here.
All of a sudden had the Maelstrom, and the damage output was just dramatically built up. 3,400 gold. Can get that next damage item soon.
I think she needs a physical one. Just maybe a Daedalus against that Viper just to really lay into it. Could also consider BKB. I don't know if that's the right choice. Or MKB against the Solar Crest you talked about is also an item here. But, well, they got a tier 2. They might actually even get a tier 3. There's no buybacks on the Radiant.
15 seconds. Glyph has already been used, and the tower will take serious damage. Air is doing the work from the low ground. But the Lifestealer will scare him back. Rages, just smacks them a couple of times, the familiars. They will retreat out. Now XTT going to TP away. And everybody will back off.
So what's very important about that fight that happened top was that they flat out just got outnumbered. Lifestealer got charged. There was no backup apart from Clockwork, who didn't even get a single spell off because of the shackle shot, and the reinforcements came in too late. I still think in any organized 5-on-5, CDEC lineup is way, way stronger right now. Gyro's next damage item could turn the tides if he manages to get an MKB. But then it's about whether Lifestealer does the same. That's why I feel like Abyssal is a really good item on the hero, but maybe MKB is more valuable, because Gyro is really the target.
And that is definitely your last 2 items. You want Abyssal and MKB. It's just more, what order do you want to go for them in? You're also up against Windranger, so it's a double the reason to get the MKB.
I guess at some point you want to sell the armlet and get something else too.
Yeah.
So I guess he has 3 slots. He probably wants to keep SNY. I think Lifestealer, one of the very few heroes that SNY is actually, in some cases, still a best item
one
in
of
the
your
slot
6
in
slot
late
items,
game.
Yeah.
Really needs the mobility and benefits quite a bit from the MAME when Open Wounds is out.
CDEC are on the hunt here. They're trying to move into position. Shiki's down in the river, and they're going to find someone. It's Air off the start. Hook on SMJ, though. This could be the bigger hook. He gets pushed back by the Clouds. He does BKB, but Lifestealer is just smacking him down. The Death Ward's going strong. Bouncing to Pretty Haw, doing heavy damage to him. They already got the gyro kill off the bat, who's immediately going to buy back, return to the fight. Aggressive, being focused, but not dropping very quickly. Shackle comes through, won't connect. Air is quite low on life. He infests and tries to retreat out. For now, he's just trapped in a creep off on the backside of the engagement. His Q gets pursued out. That's going to be the 3rd man down. And this dire creep is dangerously close to being hit by a Radiant creep. That's a big wave. He's going to have to pop out. Aggressive on the run. Instant lift into a missile. Drop back down. He tries to rage a run, but bashed day upon night, and eventually will fall. 4 dead again. And that was getting the gyro right off the bat.
Yep. Buyback from gyro, though.
That is pretty big.
It's like a 3 for 4 in that sense, kind of. If they catch gyro again, they're going to get a lane of racks.
I'm really starting to feel like if they don't get a full duration death ward, they're just not going to win a fight at this point. The Undying has fallen off a lot. The Viper just doesn't do quick enough damage. And HGT just have so much control here. If that Wind Rangers... The Wind Rangers has a much easier time getting her damage out than what I would kind of consider her counterpart at this stage, the Witch Doctor. You saw that fight drop low, but it's like 3 fights in a row now. They just can't finish the job. Hook was shot, but slightly off the mark here from XZ.
He might try again.
He's got another one in about 5 seconds.
Oh, he's still hook shot.
Can he hook away to freedom? Kaká says, get me out of here! And he will. Oh, the plays.
Very nice escape.
We mentioned him as the player to watch for his wisp, but showing his versatility here in Game 2.
Yeah, and he has an Acceptor of his own, so what can he spell steal with that? That's really good. He can get Acceptor Viper Strike, which is huge. He can steal Infest. That would be pretty funny. He can get the Witch Doctor Death Ward is probably the best one, and then of course Flesh Golem. But I think, yeah, he wants the Death Ward. That's the game winner if he can steal that at a good point in time and get to channel it freely. And to be honest, CDEC don't have that many ways of stopping him once he starts doing it. He even has a Ghost Scepter, I believe, that he can use beforehand. So you steal Death Ward, you Ghost Scepter, and you cast it. And then the only way they counter it is either with a Cask Bounce or with a rocket, or sorry, with a hook shot.
Yeah.
Or if Clock is next to him, which is very unlikely at that point. So.
But there's going to be a lot of traffic in these fights, especially with like the familiars flying around as well, and might not be the easiest thing in the world. Lifesteal still hasn't bought a new item, is the other thing. He's been sitting on that like 3 to 4K gold for quite some time. Wants to have the buyback, but it's starting to feel like he's going to need more lockdown because they're just kiting him too effectively. Either more lockdown or just more instant damage with the MKB.
I still think their own team needs a Force Staff more than anything. Like they have no way of closing the gap after they jump. That's the problem. They hook shot in, then they Force Staff the target out, and then, oh shit, we actually can't follow anymore. So if they itemize for that, then they might have a shot at it. Or someone else think Clock needs to engage. So they force out the Force Staff before the hook shot.
But there's two
or maybe even 3 on the Dire side. Wind Ranger has one, Rubik has one, and Spirit Breaker even.
So yeah, they have triple now.
It's such a good item. I really agree with them getting 3 of them for this game. It's like
especially against
most valuable item.
Against Clockwork, and then I think equally importantly, the big damage dealer is this melee carry, the Life Stealer.
And even the Death Ward.
Yeah.
Creating space so it can't hit a target.
You just Delta Split, man.
Yep.
XZ is up on the high ground, but there's a big wraparound smoke from HGT south into the Radiant Jungle. They're going to take the plunge here momentarily, it looks like. Where are they? They back off a little bit. They want that. They'd love to have that same fight they did earlier, where they just find 5 heroes walking up a cliff.
You think?
Yeah.
That would be pretty good.
Pretty sweet.
Triple bird drops with a call down on top. They've
got quite the air force here between the gyrocopter, the triple familiars. This is a bit of a strike squad.
Well, Dire misclicked and used Glyph. Or did they want to defend that tower? Oh, they glyphed the tower. This is starting to get pretty obvious for CDEC.
The mid lane's pushing in as well at the same time for...
I think that's going the other way. CDEC are pushing this, right? The next wave.
The next wave's gone. It's about even, I guess.
It's pretty even.
The waves are getting pretty big at this stage of the game.
This is such a standoff. It's actually really important.
But now I believe CDEC saw at least one of those movements around the tree line here.
Found a Centaur.
All right, guys, engage! Not ready yet.
So smoke wasted for HGT, more or less. CDEC.
But they can use the familiars to pressure the lanes, and they're going to kind of force CDEC's hand here, it looks like. Roche is up, as you mentioned. And all right, we got the Centaur. Just kidding. Even that, they're denied.
He dominated a new creep, right? Which one did he get? Did he get a wolf? He didn't. I think he took a big...
It was one of the big camp creeps. It was a wildkin.
It's still decent. This is the armor aura.
Yeah.
What's the AoE on that 900 radius? That's actually really good in this game. It's like...
More importantly, there's the salt in the wound of not even allowing a Clockwork hookshot to steal a neutral. Well, the split push does wear off a bit here. It looks like they resummon the familiars. Pretty hell backing off with his team. But CDEC are just in that awkward position where they don't have any tier 2s to stage a Roche counter from, and HGT can just calmly sit back, maybe send a couple heroes in the pit with the familiars and play the waiting game.
And Wind Ranger's getting a Hex now.
She's getting out of control, honestly. Her net worth is right there with the enemy Life Stealer, and with a Hex, she can just destroy anyone, basically.
I was expecting her to go for a damage item, but
And
they're not really lacking there.
I mean, Sin, you mentioned Force Staff. Now they really need a Forcer. I mean, maybe a Diffusal Blade, but the Force just feels like the more versatile option and also cheaper.
Yeah.
This Hex.
I think Clock should have got that over Axe. I feel like the Axe... the Axe hasn't been useful, right? He uses one hookshot in the fight anyway. He never seems to get off two. If he even gets off one... I don't know.
The Great Roche standoff of 2015 continues.
Yep.
This is reminding me of old Chinese Dota, where you'd have these for like 10-15 minutes.
They've got the movement speed Kobold, but good vision from CDEC is going to disallow this engage.
the Kobold. He's just like ushering the familiars around. Follow me, familiars. I'll lead the way. Man, I'm just going to drink myself to death. Goodbye, cruel world.
That creep just looks so derpy. It always did.
He never puts the goblet down either. He's got to have it ready to chug at all times.
Money!
He makes Brewmaster look like he's a teetotaler.
That's the MKB almost complete. Lifestealer 300 short. He's still on par with Gyro. They're actually really toe-to-toe. 15 gold difference. It's still a close game, but it seems like at this point every single HGT hero apart from the Gyro is pulling at least 1,000 ahead of everyone else. Spirit Breaker's at 1,300 ahead of Clock. Wind Ranger's about 1,700 ahead of Viper. Visage 500, okay, ahead of Undying. And then Rubik, really rich for once.
Yeah, and it's
10K
also
net worth, 2K ahead of Witch.
It's also, it feels like the Undying and the Viper, to some extent the Clock, due to the lack of Force Staff, just don't have the impact of their counterparts on HGT.
No.
There's always the potential for that gigantic death ward, but if that's your entire team fight, it's tough to feel comfortable here for CDEC. And HGT say we're not in any hurry, man. We're farming for ultra late game. We've got maybe the better scaling heroes on our side, especially that Gyro.
The problem is, like, if Lifestealer latches onto Gyro, he kills him really fast, but he can. 4 Force Staffs. Like, there's no way they catch this Gyro and kill him off, I think. And that's the big weakness of CDEC's draft. They actually can't... I don't know if they can do it anymore. The Force Staffs are really super cost-efficient.
Well, they keep on getting pulled apart at the seams here. They know that HGT want to Roche, but the familiars are somewhat forcing their hand. They're going to have to make a choice. Do they start to allow this tower to take damage? It's already down to half health. Or do they look to contest the Roche? And they opt to TP back the Witch Doctor, and I mean, that basically gives the Roche. Especially with him getting stunned. They fire the rocket, and they know what's happening. HGT are just playing a CDEC like a fiddle. They have a Lifestealer bomb, but they cannot go in 2v5 here. They're going to need the whole team if they want. Witch Doctor starts his journey over, but they can always just back off if they want to. They're bringing the Roche down low enough.
This is actually going to be really close.
This is the fight. Witch Doctor's coming in. The hook comes through. They get aggressive straight onto ZSMJ. The cogs keep on from retreating out. Where's the help for ZSMJ? He's got nothing. This could be great. Witch Doctor hasn't arrived just yet. Now he walks into the middle of the river, but he's not going to find a good death ward. 3 familiars find high. Aggressive is pounded into this Roche. He'll finish it off. XZ isolated another hero. The Wind Ranger kills her as well, and they still hold the death ward here. They get the Aegis. They don't lose racks. They force a Gyro buyback. Just an amazing set of cogs there. They kept everyone away, as you mentioned, and they couldn't force Steph him out, and HGT in danger of getting 2-0'd here if they have one more slip-up against CDEC.
Wow, I cannot believe that happened. I feel like what HGT needed to do there wasn't even that difficult. They got the right split push with the birds. They forced Witch Doctor up there. They went into the pit, and then the way they positioned themselves, they actually cornered ZSMJ away from themselves. And then Clockwork sees the opening, goes in, perfect cogs, perfect hook shot. If there's any Force Staff instantly on ZSMJ there, it's a totally different fight. But they don't... Like, I wonder how they were split there. It looked like... So, who was in the pit?
Wind Ranger, Gyro...
And that's it, right?
I think that was it.
So the other ones are really far away, and they don't have a force line. The force line from there to the high ground is actually possible if you're standing to the right of the pit, but they were all like top left and bottom. So there's no escape route. He uses BKB, and then they can't save him, and... If he doesn't BKB there, and if he turns the right way, I mean... Like I said, I feel like it wasn't that difficult. They could have actually kept all 5 heroes in the pit, and I think they would have won the fight. They made it harder by spreading out.
Yeah, I mean, if you walk into CDEC at that point, I guess the only risk would be if everyone got somehow cornered away from the Witch Doctor and he gets off the Death Ward, but he wasn't there when the fight started.
That's why they can. That's why they could have gone in there with all 5 heroes with confidence and just finished it off. If they check the timing on the movement, they should be able to get it before he comes. Or if the Radiant engages before Witch Doctor is there, they will be able to kill 2 or 3 heroes before he gets there, and then they can probably still take it even with a Death Ward coming out. Like any sort of disable would stop him. A charge, lift, bird, shackle shot, whatever. Like they have lots of solutions, and they even have triple Ghost Scepter, so they could have also just used that against the Death Ward. Like they have everything they need. Just that one thing couldn't happen, and it happened.
Well, sometimes it's better to. It's better to just roll the dice. Like, this is, again,
well, I think CDEC did the right choice.
What they had to do.
They did the right thing.
Some teams would have said, we don't have Witch Doctor here. We don't want to risk it. But they just said, we lose if we give up the Sages. We must go. And they walk away with, you know, everything coming up flush. Aegis Cheese and the win in the fight. And they force out the Gyro buyback. And with that, the next item is delayed. They might even be able to threaten a GG here out of HGT. There's not going to be that next item, probably the Satanic, anytime soon. This is big. And after a big fight, what better than a nice relaxing pause to calm us down and drain out that excessive emotion. What are we doing? I have heard that there were apparently some PC issues at the venue, at least on day one, so.
Okay.
Not sure if it's actually an internet connectivity issue, if it's a PC.
What did they write? They wrote CG So if that's anything like Kale, then maybe the lay means lag. So maybe it's the PC lag instead of the connection lag or something?
It sounds like a good theory. It probably means, like, I want to go to the bathroom.
And one of the players even has Lay as nickname, right? Not in this game, but
maybe it's just flaming him, calling him an idiot.
We lost that fight because Lay came over.
Next time, Lay, just stay at home. Okay, we don't want your services anymore. You're benched.
Fucking Lay, dude.
He always causes problems. They're going to push now, though. Remember, they didn't use the Death Ward last fight. That's available for
And Wind Ranger doesn't have buyback. This is probably a lane.
Oh, man, that's actually huge. And Gyrocopter already bought back. So if he dies, it's basically GG at that point. CDEC are going to look to take this tower. They use their Rage on Aggressive. Glyph comes out. Familiars are fairly low here, and they will steal the Viper Strike after the Rage from the Rubik. So he's just impossible to take down. Nice Infest by Aggressive. And now another Viper Strike, continuing to zone back HGT. 20 seconds, so this should be the Rex. Now the big question is, do they immediately back off? Do they try to stick around for more?
They may just cheese. I think they don't care.
They're just going to go. CDEC, in one fell swoop, might be looking to just wipe out HGT. And with a win here, a 2-0 potentially, that would put them in pole position to take this Group B. Well, we say that, and now they decide to back off. But it could be the wrong time to try and run. Cheeky's been caught out. The call down comes through. It's going to connect on both carries, but XTT just gets slaughtered. The hook finds 2, and now the Death Ward. Who's going to cancel it? Nobody does just yet. Kaka steals it, but he's zoned back by the Death Ward that he stole. He can't even voodoo restoration. Oh, he got the voodoo. He actually toggled on. You're right. So now he can't even do a thing here. He's on the run. The Viper Strike coming through. They bash Cheeky, but this looks to be the end. Dieback on Gyro. Wind Ranger out of the fight. Still no buyback, and CDEC have done it. 2-0 beat down on HGT. A close game back and forth in, but in the end, just outplayed in the clutch moment.
That one Roche fight just decided the game. I don't even know if HGT can win this last fight without buyback on Gyro against Aegis Cheese in that kind of position. I understand that they felt the immediacy of having to go there, but I mean, if they don't try to go there, they're probably going inside their own base, which I guess would have been better. I think the reason they tried to go was, I think Rage was down. They managed to, like, the fight was a little bit split. Viper and Lifestealer were top, and the others were a little bit further to the south. But ultimately, that just sets up for the